This meeting is being recorded.
Good morning. I am so pleased to be with you tonight and to have a chance to introduce our guest speaker, Eliza Love. Eliza is a sixth grade teacher at Walston Junior High and has a master's degree in curriculum and instruction from Colorado Christian University. Eliza holds licenses in early childhood, elementary, English, and language arts education, as well as gifted education. Eliza is a time-honored speaker for Parents Challenge as well as a participant in the program. We are extremely excited to have her back to share her expertise on the subject of teen people skills. Please join me in welcoming Eliza Love.
Thank you so much. I'm extremely excited to be back. I've worked with many of you who are in attendance today, and I'm very excited to work with you again. Also, this is really geared towards teens. So if you left your teen in their room on their device or playing video games or whatever, drag them down. And so it's really geared for 12 to 18-year-olds. Not that adults can't benefit as well. So you're welcome to join us, adults as well. And I encourage you to watch along with your teens so that you guys can have great discussions, after the session. We're going to go ahead and get started. Alrighty, again, it is called Teen People Skills. Let me check here. There we go. Aisha, can you see my screen or do you see a different one now?
Teen people skills, Eliza Love, MA.
Excellent. Love it. Alrighty. So in the comments, I want to know about you. A great way to create connection with people and a great way to get over your initial nervousness about talking to people is asking questions about themselves. It's kind of a little trick to take the focus off of yourself. But what it also starts to do is develop a foundation for relationship. So go ahead, please, in the comments, type how old you are. Type what grade you're in. Don't put any school names just for the sake of privacy. And then if you could travel anywhere in or out of this world, where would you go? So 3 things, please, in the comments. What grade you're in, how old you are, and if you could travel anywhere in and out of this world, where would you go? Oh, neat. Nathaniel, do you mind if I share your answer out publicly? Okay, Nathaniel's 14 and he's in ninth grade, and he would go to another habitable planet and make a colony there. I think that's a really smart answer. We have a senior and a sophomore who would go to Morocco and also space. Another freshman, Candace, who would travel to Iceland. We have another senior and a sixth grader, and they enjoy Hawaii. And we have a fifth grader and another freshman who'd like to travel to Argentina. Thank you, Nathaniel. I just saw your response. Wow, we have another Iceland. Iceland has become very popular. It's very interesting to me. We have Alaska. Oh, Paris, absolutely. If you ever get to Paris, you got to tell me. Take lots of pictures. We have 13 in eighth grade. Would like to travel to Middle Earth. Oh my gosh, you and me both. And I know what Middle Earth is, so I applaud that. We have the Bahamas. We have Spain, Chile, Fiji. Oh my gosh. Y'all know a lot more about the world than I did when I was your age. This is awesome. Australia, great. New York City. Yes, when I was in 7th grade, I wanted to go to New York City too. And my parents wanted to move in the mountains, and I thought they were crazy. I'm like, there's nobody in the mountains. I want to go where there's all the people. Now that I'm old, I want to go to the mountains. So it might change for you. You'll see. And then Iceland. Okay, cool. Excellent. Love your answers. Alrighty, then you know I like to bring the fun. So let me get you your code. We're going to play a Kahoot. So if you've not played Kahoot before, this is how you do it. You go to www.kahoot, Kahoot.it, and we'll put this in the chat. And then I'm going to get a code for you. It's thinking. All right, 988-473. Ooh, they have, okay, I'm going to show my age. I always call these UPC codes. They have a QR code if you want to just scan it. Like if you're on a computer, you can scan it with your phone, or if you're on a phone, you can maybe go on a computer and play. So I'll put the 988-473. All right, that should be in the chat for you now. Oh, look at that. Aisha was already all over it. Thank you so much. Excellent. You asked you this before. Go ahead and pop in the chat if you need me to wait for you just one more moment. Got it. I got it, Anastasia and Ariel. We will hang out just one more moment for you to pop in. So your game pin is 8473. And these are so good. I didn't have time to keep your names while you're playing a program. So thank you very much. Okay, we're gonna do one last call. Anastasia and Ariel, do you get in?
Some people are saying wait.
Yeah, they have to wait until I start the game. Yeah, I just want to make sure everybody was in, so that's normal.
Perfect.
All right. Something just happened on my screen. Sorry. There we go. Alrighty, so we'll go ahead and get started. I think we have. Yep, there's Brad again. Perfect. I think we have everybody. If we lost you, you can just follow along with us. All right, how much do you already know about teen people skills? Red is I'm confident. Blue is the topic is new to me. Yellow is I am unsure what this topic means. Green is I'm excited to learn more about this topic. Cool. Awesome. Those of you who are confident, you'll have opportunities to help me out, okay? True or false? I think teen people skills are like everything else. You either get it or you don't. True or false? And the guy in the little gift is saying, well, now I'm depressed. Excellent. Ah, you guys are so smart. Great. If you put true, that's okay. It's all right. We're going to learn tonight. Excellent. All right, another quiz. What do you want the most help with? What do you want the most help with? Red is learning to be myself around my peers. Yellow is how to set boundaries and prioritize what I need. Blue is how to be a leader among others. And green is how to stop feeling anxious in public. Ooh, that's really even. Okay, cool. Cool. We'll try to hit on most of those things tonight. Think about being around other teens or your peers. With what do you struggle the most? Red is starting a conversation, getting to know others. Yellow is sticking up for yourself and setting healthy boundaries. Blue is staying true to yourself and not giving into peer pressure. And green is knowing who to trust and who not to trust. I kind of want to ask. And that was pretty even across the board. So we're going to talk about all of this tonight. I like myself. True or false? Listen, that can change day by day, minute by minute, second by second. Okay. So it's okay. This is not, don't worry about it. If the answer is no, it's okay. We all have those times. Wow, that's encouraging, you guys. That's really good. All right, true or false? I'm just here because my parental or familial unit made me attend. Okay. Look, there's the mom because I said so. Okay, it's okay. I just want to gauge where you at. Excellent. Okay, cool. All right. Kind of a lot of you just because your parents made you, but by the end you'll be like, okay, that wasn't so bad. That wasn't so bad. And your parents won't.
I think they just picked the wrong answer. They picked the wrong thing.
Oh, okay. No worries. No worries. I was gonna say then you won't have to give them the ice cream you bribed them with because it'll be a good session. I'll have fun. All right. So there's a connection between bettering myself and my social skills. Okay. This is like, I don't know, was it Aaron Rodgers, right? Might have fallen down. So this isn't him, but it's some football player saying, honestly, I feel so attacked right now. Okay. It's hard that we know that we have to look at ourselves in the mirror and make changes. And that's hard sometimes to do. Good. Excellent. Great. Man, you guys are on it. This is just like last time. You guys did great. So there's no winners. I'm going to say you all winners because you did great. You know a lot about a lot. Okay? We'll let the person have the spot. There we go. All right. Are we cool that it went back to the presentation, sharing that screen? Yeah.
We can't see your screen.
All right. You can't see my screen. That's what I thought. Okay. I thought once I, thank you for letting me know. Before I got too far in, that would have been, oh. All right, teens, do you ever feel like your peers have it all figured out and you're lost? Do you wonder how to make friends? Are you shy but yet lonely? Are you outgoing but often annoy others or feel like you do? Tonight, we're going to learn how to get along with others, make friends, and improve whatever relationships you have. Okay, here's your target. It's important that you understand why we're here, why we're doing what we're doing. Tonight, you are going to actively participate in social skills strategies. Your so I can, you guys, is your real world connection. So I can do what? So I can improve my understanding and practice of these skills. That's why we're here, is to understand and practice. Okay. Then your success criteria. Think of like your GPS where it goes, you have arrived. And I'm always like, well, thank you. Yes, I have. So your success criteria is I will know I'm successful when I can name 3 strategies, count them, 3 that you're going to try in your life. So keep in mind, you want to come up with 3 things by the end of the presentation that you're going to be able to actually apply starting tomorrow in regards to social skills, whether it be with your peers, your family, your teachers, etc. All right. I was so encouraged to see that so many of you love yourselves or at the very least like yourselves. For those who didn't, it's okay. It's a lifelong process. Currently, 44% roughly, according to a 2021 CDC survey, say that 44% of American teens reported persistent feelings of sadness or hopelessness. compared with 26% in 2009. You guys, that's a very short amount of time for it to have almost doubled. Okay. So we went through quite a few different things in the world. I don't enjoy just speaking about, the pandemic, but that was a factor. We also have quite a few more screens going on and access to things that might accidentally or purposely isolate us. And then it's also a lot more apparent. When I was in middle school and I was in high school, I only knew about the kids at my school if they had better clothes or better hair or better shoes. And that made me feel a little sad. But nowadays, you guys can go on and see people all around the world who looks like they have it so much better. And that can be depressing and it can make you feel sad and hopeless sometimes. And so we're going to talk about ways to guard yourself against that and to be smarter than that. Okay. All right. A lot of the material tonight that I'm pulling from is Sean Covey is the son of Stephen Covey, who wrote 7 Habits for Highly Successful People. Well, Sean was like, wait a minute. He was in his 20s. He's like, Dad, we need one for my people, right? And so he worked on the 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens. And so they actually revamped it and said that it's updated now for the digital age. So I highly recommend getting that book off of Amazon or getting it for free sometimes on the Kindle reader. It'll go on special. And then also the self-guided workbook for highly effective teens is excellent. So I recommend both of those, and that's where I'll be pulling material from tonight. All right, before we get started, can I have a volunteer to read me Principle? Who would like to read Principle? You want to just give a thumbs up, or you can just start reading. No teen volunteers, not yet. You can just start reading if you want to. You can unmute and start reading.
A natural law or basic truth honestly service love.
Excellent. Tell me your name.
Isaac.
Isaac. Okay, I think I called you Anastasia earlier. Is that your mom?
Yeah, that's because I'm on my mom's account.
Excellent. Totally acceptable. Thank you so much for reading, dude. I appreciate you. That was brave. All right. Anyone else willing to read? This word is paradigm. Paradigm. Lindsay, come on. You know you want to. I think you want to read. You want to do it?
I was going to say, I see that Nathaniel had unmuted, but we couldn't hear him.
Okay. You want to try again, Nathaniel?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay,
Go
good.
for it.
I've been trying Principle, I tried that, but paradigm, the way you think about and see other things, perspective.
Good. You can continue.
Paradigms are like glasses. You have incomplete paradigms about yourself or life in general. It's like wearing glasses with the wrong prescription.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So those two gentlemen just showed right away how to improve social skills, taking a risk. They might have been embarrassed. They might have been a little unsure. They might have been excited to do it, but they took a risk and they weren't real worried about, what other people may have thought, because it was more important to them to invest in the experience than be worried about what other people were thinking. Okay. So I applaud you both. Thank you so much. All right. Here's a little game you might have seen: duck or rabbit. Duck or rabbit. So when you look at this screen, type in the chat whether you see a duck or whether you see a rabbit. Okay, it looks like we're kind of even so far. You're looking at this, you're seeing if we can see a duck or a rabbit. Yeah, for those of you who are saying they can see both, I was going to put a little joke and say, for those of us who have neurodivergence, it might be a a ruck or a dabbit, right? You might see both at the same time, and that's okay too. So this is just an example that Sean Covey gives of a paradigm. You can see things in different ways. And so that's what I want you to keep in your mind tonight and keep an open mind about, is that as you're going through some of this material, the biggest thing you want to remember to improve your social skills is about perspectives. In my classroom, I use a little card that has glasses on it. And so it just talks about multiple perspectives. You don't know what someone's coming to the table with, or what mood they're in, or what they went through before they came to school or before they had an interaction with you. So their paradigm or the way they're viewing the world might be completely different from how you're viewing it. Okay, so it's just something to keep in mind. All right, habit number 1, be proactive. Sean Covey wants us to take responsibility for our lives. I will take another volunteer. I'm actually going to ask Miss Aisha if she would read out habit number 1, please.
Complete chores before you're reminded. Email a teacher. Taking ownership. Mr. or Mrs. Jones, I apologize I missed this assignment. When may I resubmit it for credit? Number 3, admit wrongdoings, even partial, with friends and family. Think how it might be reactive right now. What changes?
Excellent. So, man, you got to do your chores, but you're on that video game, you're on Snapchat, you're doing whatever, and you're having a lot of fun. And you're like, it's okay. I have time. Mom won't be home yet. Dad won't be home yet, whatever. And then all of a sudden, before you know it, your time is gone. And then your parents come home, and they don't come home to a clean living room that's been picked up and vacuumed. They come home to a huge mess. Okay. Anybody been in that situation before? Okay. So being proactive is going to help your social relationships within your family. If you're always doing your siblings' chores for them, stop. Tell them, nope, that's up to you to do it. And then when your parents go, hey, had so and so, how come you didn't get this done? Then you can let the truth out. Well, they haven't ever gotten it done. I've done everyone's chores for them because I'm a people pleaser and I'm trying to make you happy, right? So stick to doing what's your responsibility. Not to say you can't help out others sometimes, absolutely. But if everybody chips in and does their part, things will flow a lot more smoothly. Recently, so I teach 6th grade, so they're still kind of learning the ropes of middle school. Recently, I had a bunch of students turn in assignments very late, and we had midterm grades. Can you guys give me like a toot toot or a little hand or something if you have midterm grades as well? If those possibly came out, it's incredible to me that we're already at midterms, but yep, I got a thumbs up. Okay, so then my students came to me and said, Miss Love, I submitted it through Schoology. I got it in and my grade hasn't changed. Well, you guys, your grades don't change immediately when you submit something. The teacher has to go back and re-enter the grades. So instead of coming at your teachers and attacking them, I submitted this, why isn't it graded? Well, number 1, if you had been proactive and you submitted it ahead of time or on time, it would have been as well graded on time. Okay. So if you need something from teachers, coming in with kindness is absolutely the way to go. Mr. Mrs. Jones, I'm so sorry I missed this. When can I resubmit it? Okay. So even admitting partial wrongdoings, which is hard, we tend to see ourselves in life as black and white. This I'm totally right and that person's totally wrong. Well, think about that duck rabbit again. Okay. It's okay to see both is what we want to do, right? Sometimes we see one side, sometimes we see the other. We can be the most evolved when we can see both sides of a situation or multiple perspectives. You can say, I was wrong in the way I spoke to you, but my message stands, right? What I was upset about is valid, okay? But I apologize the way that I approached it with you. All right. I need some good acting. I know I have some theater people in here. Come on. I need some good actors and actresses. Let's see. Heather, you want to try for us?
There's some people. Nathan has his hand up. You guys can just unmute if you guys want to do it.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, you guys. My internet must not be, it's not loading like your sweet faces and your screens. So I must not be seeing those. I'm so sorry. So go ahead and just read out if you'd like to share.
It's not my fault. I wish. It's unfair. Why is this happening to me? The world, they all of the students, my family, hates me.
Perfect. Thanks again, Nathaniel. All right. So we've all been there, right? My one of my little 7-year-olds, she says, "Oh, you just everybody hates me. You just hate me." And her sisters and I try to explain, no, we don't hate you, but we dislike your behavior, right? We dislike your choices. So to be reactive, it's not my fault. I didn't do it. I get lots of middle schoolers. I even just say their name and they go, "What? I didn't do it," right? And it's a big joke. It's not funny, guys. You need to take ownership for what you have done, and be okay with saying, "Oh yeah," or saying, "You know what, Miss Love, I didn't make that mess, but I'll go ahead and help clean it up." Okay. So also wishing things. I wish, I wish, I wish. There's all these sayings about wishes. We won't get into them, okay? But the fairness of life, and why is this happening to me where I'm the victim all the time and nobody has it as bad as I have it, right? And then everybody hates me. These are all very emotional, reactive ways to be. And we want to look at some proactive ways to be. Thank you. Go for it. You going to read for me? Aisha, can you tell me somebody who might have their hand up or might have a thumbs up that they want to read?
I'll do it.
Great. Thank you. Tell me your name.
Emily,
Excellent. Thank you, Emily. Take it away.
what part can I own? What steps can I take to prevent this in the future? I want to, so I plan to. I am frustrated with the situation. How can I regain my equality slash personal power? I am sad, scared, angry, unsure, frustrated. Who do I look to for help? Um, whom have I offended and disappointed? What about my choices, behaviors, and did they not like? Is there more?
Excellent.
Something we go down.
No, you did. No, you did excellent. Thank you so much, Emily, for being brave. So instead of it being, on the previous side, it's not my fault. Well, let's reflect. What part can I own? What steps can I take, preventing this from happening in the future? Then there's also I wish. Well, we can all make wishes, but it's better to make a plan. So statistics show if you write something down, and actually if you write your goal down every single day, I don't remember the exact number, I apologize, but it's well over 70% more likely that you're going to hit that goal and that you're going to reach it versus if you just pull out of the air, I wish, I wish, I wish, I wish. Okay. So when you want something, discuss with your family, discuss with your friends, discuss with trusted members of your community, what plan can I put in place to make this happen? Okay. Oftentimes, guys, oh my gosh, okay, I'm still this way. So sometimes when I get frustrated, I cry, but I'm angry or I'm frustrated that I can't articulate, right, what I'm trying to say. And then I'm 10 times embarrassed that I'm crying in public, okay, or crying in front of just one other person or whatever. So often just taking a deep breath, recentering yourself and thinking, I'm frustrated with this situation. What am I trying to articulate or say? How can I get feeling more like I'm myself again versus like the world spinning so fast around me and I can't say or do anything to slow it down so I can get my opinion out. Okay. This kind of goes along with that. I'm sad, scared, angry, unsure, frustrated. Use those feeling words. Use those words about what you're thinking and how you're feeling. And then think to yourself, who do I look to for help? It might be a friend sometimes, it might be a family member, it might be a teacher, etc. It might be another trusted member of the community. Okay. And then again, taking ownership, you guys, it's proactive. If you have a conversation with a teacher, a friend, a family member, and it doesn't go well, a proactive way to be, instead of waiting for them to come to you, a proactive way to be is for you to go to them and say, hey, if I offended you or disappointed you, I apologize. Could we talk through this again? Okay. Versus sitting around waiting. Well, if they want an apology, they can come get it type thing. Nope. We don't want to be reactive. We want to be proactive. All right. Habit number 2, begin with the end in mind. I'll go ahead and have somebody just start to read the quote.
Think about your own life. Do you have the end in mind? Do you have a clear picture of who you want to be 1 year from now, 5 years from now? Or are you clueless?
Excellent. Tell me your name.
Citri,
Okay, that was beautiful reading. Are you in theater?
I am actually.
Oh my goodness, I could tell. Classically trained. That was beautiful. All right, you guys are like Miss Love. I am, whatever, 10 and a half. I'm 12. I'm 14. I'm 17. What are you talking to me about 1 year from now, 5 years from now? I don't know. Okay. I'm going to tell you guys this. I was 8 years old in second grade. My teacher sent me down to help tutor kindergarten students. There was a little girl crying because she had to add 5 apples and 6 oranges. And she was crying because she didn't understand the problem. And I looked at her and said, "What's confusing?" And she said, "Well, they're apples and oranges. This is a true story." So I said, "Pretend the oranges are apples and then add them." She's like 11, like that. And her eyes lit up and I was hooked. I was like, "Oh, that was cool. I like that," right? And that's when I knew I wanted to be a teacher. Now, it might not come to you at 8 years old. That's pretty young, okay? But from that point on, let me tell you, I watched every single thing my teachers did. I listened to everything my teachers said when I'd be in the hallway and they'd be having teacher talk, complaining about things or doing whatever, right? Talking about a student in positive ways and things. I would glean that and I would listen to it and hang on to it so that when I became a teacher when I was older, I could do the right thing. Okay. If you like sports stars, study them now. Watch them. Even if your life takes a different direction, you've still gained some knowledge that could help you at some point. Okay. So again, you don't have to know at 8 years old what you're going to do with the rest of your life. And I will tell you this, I went to college the first time and I learned a lot about life, but I did not leave with my degree the very first time. Parents, don't listen. It can happen sometimes. Okay. But then when I did go back to school, man, I was on fire and I earned 3 degrees in about 5.5 years. Okay. So when you guys begin with the end in mind, you're much more intentional, you're much more passionate, and you're much more likely, again, to stick with that goal instead of letting things distract you from it. Okay. If somebody could read, I am so sorry. I have a little bit of the cold, whatever jazz is going on with all of us right now, I'm pretty sure. When you guys see these eyeballs, this means what could it look like? So this means in the real world for you guys today, tomorrow, over the next 1 to 5 years, what might that look like? And what steps do you take to help you begin with the end in mind? Okay. So it doesn't have to be an actor or an actress, but someone go ahead and read 1 through 3 for me, please.
Who am I? Surveys, inventories, friends, family, church members. Who do I want to be? Whom do you admire, respect, envy? How will I get there? Roadmap for life, small steps, and destination provisions for emergencies, unexpected events.
Excellent. So it says Josh and Karis Bowen. So who was first? Who was reading?
Josh was reading.
Josh was reading. Are you his sister?
Yes.
I felt the eye roll. Josh was reading. Okay, Josh, excellent. My friend, if you're not going to go into broadcasting or radio or something, oh my gosh, please look into that. You have an incredible voice. Thank you so much for presenting. And listen, those of you who can't barely read, you can volunteer to read too, okay? It doesn't have to be a show. We just got lucky tonight, okay? So, you guys can take surveys, you can talk to friends and family, community members. Think about who do you want to be. Look at who you admire and who you respect and what they're doing with their lives, and then just do research. You guys have access to so much knowledge nowadays. Use it in the best way, right? Research how someone became an actor or an actress, or how they became an aerospace engineer, or whatever you're interested in. You don't have to, again, pick it right now and stick with it, but it's important to just research and be interested in what you might want to do. Okay. All right. Habit number 3. We have the procrastinator. So we always want to put first things first. We want to do, what needs to be done first right away. Okay. So we have the procrastinator. The procrastinator is like, I'm going to do everything at the last minute because I can, and it'll be just as good as if I do it ahead of time. I'm going to put off doing things. This really just results in stress and anxiety and burnout. Okay. We have the yes man. The yes man is that sibling who just does everything for the family, right? So they try to please other people. They can't say no because they're afraid of offending other people. They often give in to peer pressure, and it results in that reputation of being, a pleaser or lacking self-discipline and self-respect, honestly, to say no. I was a people pleaser for a long time, and I didn't realize until much older. I mean, I'm talking like 35. I realized how often people were using me and taking advantage of my kindness because I was so eager to help everybody. That was tied into hoping that they would like me and love me and accept me. Okay. The prioritizer. So, oh, sorry, let's read the slacker. So they waste, they have excess, they do too much of everything that's unproductive. That results in lack of responsibility, guilt, and really flakiness, right? Like they want to do as little as possible to get as far as they can. Okay. And then finally is the prioritizer. So this is like the quadrant of excellence. This is what you're aiming for. Okay. So this person has it together, and they are someone that you kind of look at where you're like, man, they're in class with their materials on time every time. They know what to do. They prioritize and get it done. They know how to say no with a smile. No, thank you. I've got too much on my plate right now, but I'm so flattered that you thought of me. Okay. They do things with a smile, and it results in them having control in their life, balance, and being able to be high performers. Okay. Okay. Perfect timing. Do you know why? Listen, I have two chihuahuas. I call them chihuahuas. They're brother and sister. I also call them the twins. The twins are losing their minds right now in the other room, and so I'm going to go take care of them while you guys break out, because I just gave you a lot of information in a little bit of time, and the best way for you guys to retain it is to talk about it with each other. So the lovely Parents Challenge coordinators are going to put you guys in breakout rooms. Here's what I would love to see happen. Everybody share 1 to 2 strategies per person. I can tell we have some extroverts in here, some performers, some talkers. Don't let them take over the breakout room. And if you are one of those people, be kind and considerate. And maybe let the people who look a little shy and quiet go first. Okay. So you're going to discuss 1 to 2 strategies per person and how you're going to begin or begin to apply that strategy in life. So just to review them, we talked about putting first things first. We talked about beginning with the end in mind. And we talked about being proactive versus reactive. Okay. So you guys are going to talk about 2 things in your breakout room. Sorry, guys, just to clarify as you go in. So a breakout room, they're just going to put you in different rooms, and you guys are going to chat with each other, and you'll be able to see each other. So go ahead and click yes, accept when they move you to a breakout room or ask you to join a breakout room.
I was gonna say maybe we should say their name because they don't know. Okay. Are you
We're still recording, Sharice, FYI.
yes. No, I was gonna say, how do I do attendance from that then? I just do the you'll tell me? I mean, do I take a screenshot of everyone's name? That's what I did. Or can I do attendance now from
whoever you have on your list? Start logging them in on the digital sign-in, and then it'll populate on my end, and then I'll put in who I have that you missed.
Okay.
And then at the end we'll get the names of those who we have no idea who they are. We'll ask them who they are.
Okay, perfect. I was like, I don't know if I could do it now. So okay, perfect. I'll work on that now.
Okay. Eliza, how long is this going? Oh, she left.
I'm all shouting to you from the other room and I'm muted. I forgot to tell you, so I'm sorry. So,
Okay.
I don't know, let's go like 1 or 2 more minutes maybe. Feedback I
Okay.
got on other evaluations were that the breakout rooms weren't long enough. So I'm going to hop into some right now and I'm going to try to get an idea of like
Okay.
where they're at and how they're doing. I'm also going to put my rat dogs away. I can't I'm so a cat
I got
person.
to
I
go
can
to room 1.
Cool.
What just happened?
They joined breakout rooms to help talk to the people in the breakout rooms.
Oh, I wasn't paying attention clearly.
It's okay.
There's other people in the other party that have not realized to leave it.
It will make them all come back. It will close it. Thank you.
Thanks for letting us know. This person was in before. Oh, you got it already. Okay. You guys are on it. So we have 29. Does that seem like everybody's back-ish?
There was
There's
a girl in the other one, and she had no clue what to do. So I have no clue if she made it.
Okay, thank you, Erin.
Yeah, there was 36 before we went in.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. All right, thank you so much. Okay, guys, welcome back. Either in the chat or you can speak it out. I'd like you to go ahead and take the opportunity to share some things that you spoke about in your chat room. So I forgot to give you guys a task of having you assign one spokesperson, so that's okay. If you were in the group number 1, if you were in chat room number 1, would somebody type into the chat, or you can just share out something that you guys spoke about while you were in the breakout room?
We talked about what we wanted to be as an adult.
Excellent. What were some of the careers or professions?
Author, engineer. I wanted to be a astronomer. So
Great, that's excellent. And so you guys definitely will have to begin with the end in mind, right? So there's some schooling that has to happen. If you want to be an author, one of my favorite things to share is that Stephen King actually writes the end of his novels and then he works backwards and he fills everything in according to how it ended. So that blows my mind that he's able to do that. But most authors start at the beginning with the end in mind. He actually literally has the end in mind and writes it and then goes back and fills in the characters and the events and everything. So I think that's pretty cool. Alrighty. I did notice some people putting in that they're people pleasers. We'll talk about that a little bit as to how to help that. Okay. Yeah, Elena, that's not how most people write books either. So it's really cool. He also thought he was a massive failure. And then his wife read one of his novels and made him send it to a publisher. And it was one of his most famous. So, sometimes it's not just believing in ourselves that we need, it's relying on those people around us to encourage us too. Okay. All right.
Our group, a question asked in our group was if we can have any historical figure at our house or meet any historical figure or over for tea, or I don't remember specifically what, but some of the answers were, one person said Babe Ruth and one person said Abraham Lincoln.
Okay, excellent. And who was the person, do you remember who posed the question, who asked it? That's okay if you don't.
No,
That's
I
okay.
don't.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. And so then Heather says her daughter Marilyn said the beginning with the end in mind. Since she wants to be an artist, she can watch art tutorials and take an art class. Absolutely. Again, gosh, my daughter loves art and she loves cartooning. And so there's a gentleman who sits with his daughter and he shows people how to cartoon, and his daughter, draws along with him. And when they started, she was like 2, and now she's about 8 or 9, I think. And just to see how her art has progressed is incredible. So we're so lucky and fortunate to have access to so many things that can help us, build ourselves. Okay. All right. I see songwriter and singer going to the police force. So again, you guys are doing an excellent job of beginning with the end in mind. So great work. All right, I'm going to bring you back. Next, we have win-win. So John Greenleaf Whittier quoted, "Me lift thee, and thee lift me, and we shall both ascend," which means lift up or be raised up together. Okay. Oftentimes, leadership or people in charge might act like they're in charge and the people below them are there to serve them. So sorry, one moment. So sorry. When the best leaders actually are able to pull people up alongside them and then look at how the people with whom they're working can elevate them to be a better leader as well. Okay. Guys, win-win is the foundation for getting along with other people. I'll take a volunteer to read slides 1 through 3.
I'll do it.
Go for it.
Hold on. I gotta close this real quick. Okay.
Okay.
Find mutually beneficial. Both sides receive a benefit. Solutions. Prioritize what you are willing to compromise and give what you are not. Then give. Sorry. Oops, I did it wrong. Prioritize what you are really willing to compromise on and what you are not, then give. Express your perspectives. Paradigms and emotions to help the other person understand your non-negotiables.
Excellent. Wonderful. So what you want to look for within yourself is find a beneficial outcome that will help both people. Okay. So there's win-win, there's win-lose, where you're going to win, but somebody else is going to lose, but you don't really care. And then there's lose-lose, where nobody wins because a toy gets broken or something gets stolen or things are said in an argument that you can't take back, right? I always remind my children as siblings that I want them to have a friendship and a relationship when they're adults. And I ask them to be mindful that how they treat each other now is going to impact or could possibly change how they'll treat one another as adults. And I don't want to see them not be able to have an adult relationship together because they've hurt each other so much as siblings. So you may think, well, that's my brother or sister. They're always going to be there. Be real careful not to take them for granted, because if you hurt them to the point or it's always win for you and lose for them, they're not really going to see a purpose of continuing that relationship as you guys get older. Okay. Prioritize what you're willing to compromise on. So sorry. So prioritize what it's okay to compromise on. Like, I really wanted the double chocolate ice cream, but I like mint chocolate chip just as much. And so I'll take the mint chocolate chip. Guys, that's a very simple explanation, right? It's a very simple example. There's some more serious things that happen in life. A non-negotiable is I'm not going to let anybody cheat off of me in an exam, right? So I was in advanced French when I was in high school, and one of the cutest, most popular young men wanted to cheat off of me, and he was leaning over and leaning over. And about the second time he did it, I put my arm and I blocked my paper so he couldn't see it. So we have to decide what are non-negotiables. He actually came up to me after class and he said, "I really respect you for that." And I said, "Why? Because I didn't let you cheat?" And he said, "Yeah." He said, "Most people just let me do whatever I want." And he's like, "I shouldn't have cheated off of you. That was wrong. And I deserve whatever grade I get." So like that made me think that he had more depth too, right? And so he recognized, people will recognize when you set the example and do the right thing. Okay. So figure out with your family and your community members what your non-negotiables are, what you're not going to budge on, because that's the foundation of who you are. Okay. Other than that, consider other perspectives, consider those other paradigms, how things might look to other people, and compromise. Okay. Again, this is that foundation for getting along with other people, is looking at situations as win-win. Okay. All right. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. I'm going to have to look it up for you guys, but there's a quote that says most people listen with the intent to speak instead of the intent to understand. Okay, so most people listen with the intent to speak or respond instead of with the intent to understand. Okay, all right, I'll take a volunteer for the quote.
I'll do it.
Go for it.
Before I can see, before I can walk in another person's shoes, I must first remove my own.
Okay, tell me your name.
Emily?
Emily again. I thought it sounded familiar. Yep. Emily, what do you think that might mean? What might that quote mean?
Um, what I think it means is that basically you can't tell somebody to walk in your own shoes. First, you gotta try to walk in theirs.
Cool.
Because
Excellent.
sometimes you never know what's going on in somebody's life.
Yep, perfect. So if you're so holding tight to your own pair of shoes or your own perspective or the way that you see things, and you're not willing to just set that aside for a moment to look at how the other person is viewing life or think and consider about the experiences they've been through, then it's going to be difficult to come to terms with that. Okay. Teenagers can sometimes struggle with this because you're just coming into your own personality, your own awareness of the world, where you're getting a lot more responsibility. You get to make a lot more choices, and it should be a lessening of I'm doing this because my parents are lording over me, and I'm going to get in trouble if I. And it should be more I'm going to do this because this is who I am, and this isn't who I am. Right? I'm firm in my identity. I'm firm in my non-negotiables. Okay. So it's hard sometimes when you're just in the process of developing who you are to be able to understand someone else who's also developing who they are. Okay. So have extra grace and patience with your peers. Have extra grace and patience with your parental and familial units right now, because they've always known you as this lovey, sweet, squishy who like to color and dance and look at me, look at me, look at me. And now you're like, what do you want? Right? It's heartbreaking. So be patient with your elders, okay? They also are trying to adjust, learning how to see things from your perspective and your point of view. And some adults don't catch on until it's much later in your teen years or your young adult life, like, oh, they don't want to watch Bluey and sit and color with me anymore, but maybe they would like to go on a hike with me, or maybe we're going to go to the airsoft and shoot each other with Nerf guns or whatever. Okay, so give them time and say, man, I really appreciate that you want to spend time with me. Could we do it in this way? Okay, so that's a way to do it. I need a volunteer to read about what that can look like in the real world. 1 through 5, please.
I will.
Okay. Tell me your name again.
Elena.
Elena. Excellent. Thanks, Elena. Go for it.
1. Ask questions versus making assumptions. 2. Listen, listen, listen. 3. Read books about other cultures, genders, experiences. 4. Read books from all different types of leaders. 5. Use the phrases, how can I help you? What do you need?
Okay, perfect. I love it. I hope you guys participate this much in your own classrooms, because oh my gosh, if not, your teachers are missing out on some really excellent presenters. So thank you guys so much for your help tonight. As appropriate for your age, when you read books about other cultures or genders or other people's experiences, that's going to help boost your understanding of different perspectives. Okay. Again, reading books from all different types of leaders, from all different backgrounds and cultures, leaders who were were affluent or had money growing up, leaders who were poor growing up, male leaders, female leaders, people who worked in politics, people who worked with children. Reading about all different types of people is again going to boost that awareness within yourself I found reading to be magical. My parents weren't in a position where we could travel the world, and it's okay because I grew up to really appreciate what I had and not take things for granted. And so, where I was able to travel the world, where I was able to gain an immense amount of cultural knowledge was through books, right? Through reading, through newspapers. As an adult, I even listened to the BBC, and I listened to Australian news, and I listened to the news from all around the world to hear what else is going on besides just being ethnocentric or culturally centric and listening to what's going on just in America. Okay. And then the biggest shift, you guys, I had with my children, and you might want to recommend this gently to some of your family units, is just the phrase, how can I help you? What do you need? Sometimes we don't know as teenagers, okay? I'm mad and I'm sad and I don't even know why. I feel like my cells of my body are like physically, I can feel them reforming, right? I can feel them moving around in my body. I can hear them moving around and it's driving me nuts. And then on top of that, my teacher thought I did something that I didn't do. My classmate did it. And then on top of that, the school bully took my glasses and threw them down the hall. And then on top of that, I have 5 assignments to do tonight, right? So like you might want to just say to your family, can you just ask me if I'm being snarky or rude or impatient or whatever? Can you just look at me and say, what do you need? How can I help you? Okay. Likewise, you guys, oh man, adults, we've got a lot going on. Okay. And we forget to filter sometimes, and we forget to protect you guys from certain things that we should protect you from. Okay. Look at your folks, look at your grandparents, aunt, uncle, whomever's helping raise you. Say, how can I help you? What do you need? You guys, people are gonna fall over you do that. I'm telling you, they'll at least stop their crankiness and go, I'm telling you, you try it. And their body's gonna go like this. Thank you so much for asking. You know what? I don't need anything right now. I just needed to get that off my chest. So thank you for listening or whatever. Okay. So you can be that leader for your family where you start asking your siblings, how can I help you? What do you need right now? And then they'll learn, oh, maybe if they're asking us that when we're frustrated, they want us to ask them that and approach them that way when they're frustrated. Okay. So you can be that leader who instills change in your family and in your classrooms with your teacher. Miss So and so, Mr. So and so, you look a little upset today, or you sound a little upset. Is everything okay? You guys, 5 points extra credit. I'm telling you, that'll go a long way with your teachers, okay? And your classmates. All right, here's what we're going to do. Again, this was a lot of information tonight. You guys were really interactive. You guys helped me with a lot of the slides. You gave great information about your in your breakout rooms. I just would like to do now, you guys give me some scenarios, okay? So you tell me, what do I do if, this kid at school won't quit bugging me? What do I do if, etc.? You can type it in the chat if you don't want to ask it out loud. So you guys give me some
I'll do it.
scenarios. Okay, cool. And then I'll help you learn what to say back, okay? Go for it.
Okay, so what do you do if a school bully pins you against the wall and won't let you like get free?
Okay. Let me ask a quick question. Has this happened over and over again, or was this one time?
One time.
Okay.
That
Still
was
not okay.
today.
That was today. Oh, I'm so sorry, friend. Okay. It doesn't matter how many times, totally not okay that it happens, period, right?
Yeah.
Really what you're going to do is say, get off of me now. This isn't fun. I'm not having fun. Get off of me. Okay. So that's going to set a healthy boundary. You're going to say it loud, like loud. Get off of me. Get off of me. Stop. You're squishing me. I'm not having fun. I'm not playing. This isn't fun for me. Get off of me. Loud. Okay. What that's going to do, crossing my fingers because I'm a teacher and we're human, it's going to alert teachers, it's going to alert other people. How bullies get power is they isolate you, they get you alone. So you, as fast as you can, get yourself unalone. I don't promote you putting your hands on people, but if you have to flap your arms and people say, "Hey, help me, help me. This guy's got me pinned. Get him off of me. I'm not having fun. This isn't my friend. I don't like this," right? You be loud. It's going to be super embarrassing, but guess what? My whole life I shoved stuff in and I got in some really dangerous situations because I didn't speak out to the other person. I didn't like what they were doing. Okay? So you start now standing up for yourself, and then when you're older, it'll be easier. It's going to be super embarrassing, but it's going to feel a lot better when it's over than you just being physically pinned and not being able to move. Okay. So I know that might have been a little intense, but it's just because I'm so serious about helping you guys understand how to stand up for yourselves. Okay. If it ever happens with this individual again, you immediately go to a teacher, you immediately go to an assistant principal, a dean, a principal, the office, and you report it and you tell your family immediately because it should never happen. Once can maybe be a mistake where there's some kids whose brains work a little different, or there's some kids who play a little rough and they maybe didn't understand how uncomfortable you were. But if it happens repeatedly, that's the definition of bullying and or relational aggression, and you make sure to tell somebody right away. Okay, tell somebody every time, but especially if it happens more than once. Okay,
We
excellent.
so me and her, we weren't alone. We were in front of my whole class, and I was telling her, get off me," and two people were like, "Get off of her," because me and my friend were playing around, and she got hit in the ear where she just got a piercing, and I felt really
Mhm.
bad, and she pinned me against the wall, and we were in a place with my whole class, and they were all, "Oh, Emily, stop being a big baby," and I was like,
Okay.
"No, I'm really uncomfortable. Get off of me."
Right. Right. Yep. And so, I mean, it really sounds like you handled that, the best you could. And it sounds like she maybe overreacted. And so maybe you guys can chat about that another time. You can also look at somebody directly and say their name and say, go get the teacher immediately. Okay. And so that they can run and get the teacher. Okay. Excellent example. Thank you. All right. We'll go ahead and move on. Um, yeah. So, right. So, there's something in the chat about where maybe you could like push them away. Here's the only thing I will tell you, being a teacher, is you just want to be careful. Maybe just use your arm or something, because a lot of the times, unfortunately, nowadays, both kids will get suspended or detention or in trouble if they each put their hands on one another, even if you're the person trying to get away. Some teachers listen, some don't. Some administrators do, some don't. I hate to say that, but it's just the case of we're all just human, trying to understand situations the best we can. Okay. So your best bet is to say somebody's name if you know somebody nearby and tell them go get an adult immediately. Okay. All right. Another scenario. I'm ready. Okay, I just want to clarify. Sorry, I just feel responsible for this. So I want to clarify, there was something, and we don't need to identify who, but something in the chat that says that they would fight that other person. That's a reactive, right? So that's a reactive response. That absolutely will get you in trouble. And as you get older and older, it gets you into more permanent trouble. So you absolutely do not want to fight, but I agree you don't want to be the victim either. So asking for help, getting other people to help, even if everybody's saying you're being a baby, you call out the name of the nicest person in that classroom. You tell them to run and get the teacher, okay, or to run and get help, okay? You do not ever want to put hands on people or fight them, okay? All right, guys, we have time. Maybe let's try to do one or two more scenarios. It could just be about standing up for yourself verbally. It could be how to ask your teacher questions, things like that.
There is a question in the chat that says, what do you do if your friends make fun of you for being obese?
Okay. Yeah, that's an excellent question. Get new friends. That would be my first answer. I don't say that lightly. I myself have struggled with my weight my whole life. I had to weed out friends who would say things. Oh, oh, Eliza will have another piece of pie. Why don't you give her another piece of pie? Or, oh yeah, a new burger came out at Wendy's. Why don't you ask Eliza how it is? I bet she's eaten it already. Okay, stuff like that. But then they'd be like real nice to me other times. You don't need people like that in your life. Okay. some of these friends that I had had since second grade. And in like middle school, high school, I had to leave them be because as I look at pictures of myself in high school, I wasn't that obese. Okay. Um, in fact, I was pretty. And now in retrospect, I think maybe they were jealous. So they could be jealous of your great personality. They could be jealous that you're funny. They could be jealous that you're kind, that you maybe despite, your body figure or body image, that you have a good self-esteem. People used to treat me because I was overweight that I should hate myself. And so then they were almost angry with me when I was happy and when I took risks and I spoke in front of people and I was proud of myself. They were angry at me for that because they wanted me to hate me as much as they hated me. Okay. So remember, if people are making fun of you for something, they could be insecure about that thing themselves, and they could be not understanding how you're as cool as you are, even though you're overweight or whatever. Right. So I really encourage you to seek out, you always want to find people in life who are similar to you. So seek out other people that people might have called nerds or ugly or stupid or what. Anytime people are going to label other people, look for those people because the chances are those people have good self-esteems and they're going places in life. And those are the types of people you want to be around versus the types of people who are going to just sit back and make fun of others, especially if they call that person a friend. Then that's not somebody that you should be sitting back and making fun of. Okay. I think I saw another one too. Yes. So what do you do if you feel alone in a crowd? Um, excellent, excellent question. So uh, there's a saying, and I'm gonna have to find it. Maybe I can get it to you guys later. But just of being surrounded by people and feeling, epically alone. I would say I would say practice. Okay, instead of going into a crowd, um, by yourself, I would go into a crowd with a buddy. Okay, somebody who you're cool linking arms with, putting your arm around. They put their arm around you. Having physical, appropriate physical touch, or grounding yourself. Thinking in your head, the trees are green, the sky is blue. I take a deep breath. It smells like it's about to rain. Grounding yourself works. Anything physical, anything of your senses, taste, touch, smell, sight, sound, those are all going to help you feel less alone in a crowd. Also look for somebody else who looks lonely. I guarantee you, if you're in a crowd and you're looking around and somebody's looking down like this, you just walk right up to them. Hey, my name is so and so. Gosh, this is super overwhelming, isn't it, being around this many people? I guarantee you, if their face looks down in a crowd, they feel the same. They're going to be like, yeah. And then they'll tell you their name. And even if you guys sit together in silence or stand together in silence, it's better than trying to take on a crowd of people alone. Okay. Yeah. Also about the crowded room. When you actually feel physically overwhelmed to the point that you can't breathe or you're going to cry or you feel like you're going to throw up or you feel like you want to run away, that's actually what's called a sensory feeling. And so you can Google, how to help sensory issues while I'm in a crowd, or I feel scared or nervous or anxious in a crowded room. How do I help my senses work through that? And it will give you some suggestions online. Like I said, deep breathing, grounding yourself, which means making yourself familiar with your surroundings, etc. Okay. All right. Let me see. I don't want to miss. Okay. Hey, this is okay. This is excellent feedback. So thank you so much, the person who messaged me. A lot of you are homeschooled, or some of you are homeschooled. So it's going to look really different. I have to tell you, excuse me, the people that I befriended in college were mostly homeschooled because I was an only child and I hung out with my parents a lot. And so other people were like called us weird. I loved it. I was like, finally, I found my people. Okay. I wish my parents would have homeschooled me, right? So if you guys are homeschooled, would one of you tell me maybe something that's hard for you? Maybe that your parent is also your teacher. Maybe that your siblings are also your learning mates, something like that. Or do you find it difficult when you go to the public library or the grocery store and you see your peers that you don't really relate to them or kind of get along in the same way? What could I do to help you guys who are homeschooled? And you can put it in the chat too if you want to put it in the chat.
It's
Okay, well, go ahead.
It's always hard for me to like, I don't know, relate to people. They're like, oh yeah, the like instances like this, and they're like, and you're in school, and I'm like, I don't go to school, so I can't respond correctly to this instance that you give me. What would you do in this situation? I'm like, I don't know.
Sure, sure. And do you mean like right now in the presentation or when you're hanging out with people your own age?
Usually, not in the presentation, but like anywhere where they're like a quiz or whatever, and they like they're like, oh yeah, and you're in school and you like do this, and I'm like, well,
Yeah, we don't really. So this is the cool opportunity that you have where you get to be a leader, okay? And you get to help them develop their perspective on life. And you can say, well, actually, I'm homeschooled, and so we do a flipped classroom approach where I research, and then the way that I prove my knowledge is I get to create a project, or I get to write a report, or I get to videotape myself giving a presentation on a topic, and that's how I get to show my knowledge. And you might be surprised that a lot of your friends might then go back and ask their parents to homeschool them instead. Okay, so this is an opportunity where instead of feeling kind of shy or embarrassed or sad maybe that you aren't doing the same things they are, you get to actually lead and expose them to the world of homeschooling. Okay.
Now don't get me wrong, I love my grandmother, but I was visiting her in Spain, and she found out that I was homeschooled because my mother and I had forgotten to tell her. She found out that I was homeschooled through someone who was traveling with me because I had done a trip before. Long story. Anyway, ever since then she had been like, oh, how are you going to get into college? How are you going to do anything? You're going to be nothing in life because you're homeschooled. You can't do anything because you won't be able to do anything because you don't have a real education. She also said something about my mom. She said, oh yeah, that makes sense. Your mom was like really bad in school or whatever, because also a separate story. And but she's like, and I love her, but like she's like, how are you ever anything? Because you're
Sure.
and you don't have a real education and your mom's teaching you for all that. And she
Yeah.
doesn't have a real teaching degree, and how are you going to get into college and a whole bunch of other stuff.
Okay. Okay. So thank you so much for sharing this. So I'm so sorry that that happened because adults need to be really careful when they speak into children's lives and saying what will or won't happen, because just an adult had an experience a certain way or has their own fears, it doesn't mean that we need to put those on kids, right? So I'm sorry that that happened. Again, it's a great opportunity to educate her. And so, what I encourage you to do to make yourself feel better and probably make your mom feel better, because it probably made you mad and sad that she was talking about your mom like that, right? Even though you love your grandma, right? And so, what you can do is Google famous people who are homeschooled. There are lots of famous people who are homeschooled, in addition to the fact that prior to the late 1800s, when schooling became a social construct, or schooling started happening in the late 1800s, everybody was homeschooled. Okay. So we're talking about the creator of the cotton gin. We're talking about, everybody before about, the 1880s. Okay. Were homeschooled, or did the one room schoolhouse where they had kindergarten through 17-year-olds learning together. So I encourage you to Google famous homeschoolers, and then maybe just to help yourself heal, send her an email or write her a letter, and you don't even have to send it to her, and just say, just so you know, my mom's going to do a great job, and here's some famous people who were homeschooled. Okay. And there are ways that your mom will walk through legally that you don't have to worry about proving your education when you're ready to enter college. Okay. There was a great recommendation from Elena to join maybe a homeschool co-op, and they can help answer a lot of those questions as far as what tests you need to pass and what things you need to do to show the state of Colorado that you are educated to the point of ready to move on to college. Okay. I have a close friend who homeschooled her daughter, and her daughter just graduated as the youngest graduate of Colorado University with her bachelor's degree at 16 years old. So there are plenty of people who are homeschooled who do quite well for themselves. Okay. You guys did great. You put a lot of stuff in the chat. I see private Catholic school, private Christian school. Oh my gosh, look at this. Elena's already on it. George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Jefferson, Teddy Roosevelt, all homeschooled. I love it. Thank you so much. Benjamin Franklin, his teachers wrote home that they thought he was deaf and dumb, that he was never going to be anything. He was going to be a burden on the family, all of this stuff. And his mom didn't pay attention to that. She pulled him from the school, homeschooled him, and look at everything he's done. So these are great examples. Thank you. The last thing I just want to leave you with is this. Keep in mind that if you're an open-minded person who's grounded in who you are at such a young age, and you love who you are at a young age, it's a tough world to be among a bunch of people who don't. It's a tough world to be among a bunch of other teenagers who can't stand themselves and who don't have maybe families who help them learn about themselves or better themselves or come to Parents Challenge presentations like this. Okay. So a lot of times in life, you might feel lonely. You might feel a little bit isolated and sad. A lot of leaders do feel that way. Keep leading. Okay. Keep being a leader, and then seek out other leaders for you to spend your time with, because then you guys together will help go educate the world about what it can look like versus just having tunnel vision that it has to be just one thing. Okay. That's a good question, Nathaniel. You're going to have to Google it yourself, okay? If Mozart was homeschooled, that's a great question. So, all right. I cannot thank you enough. You guys have been amazing. I think there's some directions coming from Miss Melissa, the lead director. And so I will turn you guys back over. I really can't thank you enough. Per usual, you guys were awesome.
Thank you so much, Eliza. That was so great. And you guys were all wonderful for your participation. I really appreciate it. And I do have a survey for you guys to take. We are going to give out door prizes, and there's some attendance stuff we have to take care of first, but I'm going to put in the chat a survey. So please take that. It's